Alright, so let's talk about the movie that I had originally planned on watching yesterday before I ended up seeing Zootopia 2 instead, and that is Freakier Friday, the other Disney sequel. And I've got to say that I think this one lives up to the original. I think that this is a very interesting sequel for a movie that is a sequel to one that was released 22 years ago. So I think that this is actually a really good follow-up, especially with how they play into all the dynamics, as they do kind of retread some of the plots points of the original, but with the new twist of having more people body swapped and a bigger overarching family dynamic. I think it really benefits. Although that means that in 22 more years, they're going to have 6 people body swap or 8 people body swap, because they've either been adding to or doubling every time they make a sequel to this. But I've got to say that this was really very charming. Freakier Friday, much like Freaky Friday, is all about a body swap where the kids are in the adults' shoes, and then they got to learn to, see from each other's points of views and change their views on something, which, coincidentally enough, not coincidentally, is a marriage again. And so I really like the dynamic of having 2 of the same age characters conflicting in this. And then, of course, just incorporating the other 2 there just because they were also arguing about other things. I think that this actually makes for a really cool and interesting story, and especially a sequel to Freaky Friday from 2003. And so with all of that, I think that narratively speaking, I thought this was a really well done story, and it does get really emotional, which is really good for a sequel of this nature. So I'm giving a hand grenade score here. Now, I think cinematically speaking, there isn't much to drag you to the theaters, but now that it's on Disney Plus, I think it's really worth a watch, because it is that little comfort movie that you turn on in the background, or you sit down, watch once, and then you have a little comfort movie that you can just turn on whenever and really never need to pay attention, but you'll always know what's going on. And not to mention, it does have some pretty cool music and some good music choices. As apparent, something that I had completely forgotten when I rewatched the first one is that there is a lot of music in these movies, and it's quite fun and interesting, and it's entertaining, and that's what matters with a movie like this. So I'm gonna give another hand grenade score here, because I do think it's pretty rewatchable and explosive, because, like I said, it feels like a comfort movie. And so let's talk about the directing, which I thought it was really well directed. I really loved the pacing of it all. I didn't think it really dragged at any point. And so I'm going to give a hand grenade score here as well, even though I will be honest, it doesn't feel grand or spectacular, but it doesn't need to be, and that's what matters. It doesn't overdo anything. And so now let's talk about the performances, which I think is the best part of this film. Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis bring their A games, and they are phenomenal, much like in the original. But in this one, I also think that the 2 child stars, I guess is the best way to put it, also do great. Julia Butters and Sophia Hammonds are both phenomenal as well. There isn't, the main 4 did so well, and if one of them had faltered, I think it would really hamper the film, but they all do really well, and it makes it for this very charming family dynamic that makes it worth rewatching. Because if even one of those 4 performances was a little off and not as good as the rest of them, it would falter. But luckily, they're all really solid and great. So I have to give a hand grenade score here, because it's really carried by the acting. And so overall, in conclusion, expectations and experience, I enjoyed this more than I ever thought I would have. I thought it was really fun, it was wholesome, it was charming, it was emotional, and that's all you can really ask for a film like this. So I'm going to say that this is a certified hand grenade movie. I am actually down to rewatch this and show it to other people, because I do think that this has charming, and if they liked the first one, they'll like the second one. So that's pretty much all I have to say for this. I hope to see you guys for the rest of catch-up week tomorrow as I watch who knows what. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts and opinions on Freakier Friday if you've seen it or now you're planning on seeing it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and other than that, I'll leave you guys to it. Until next time, bye.